So you're thinking about moving to the area and you're gonna visit town, which is a great idea. Here's what to expect and what to plan for. Welcome to the Living in Vancouver and Camas, Washington YouTube channel. I'm your host, Hannah Dubyne, and I'm so glad you're here today because we are talking about coming to town, which means you are probably thinking about moving here, which is really exciting. So if you are thinking about moving to the area, we would highly recommend taking a trip for at least a weekend to come check out what it's like living here and the homes and just experiencing the community. The only clients we have that really don't come visit here, at least Washington State, but really Clark County as a whole first, would be like military relocation, job relocation on a short notice, it wasn't your choice, you just got relocated by your employer, or maybe if you're tight on money. If you don't fall in those categories, we would highly recommend you make the time and the budget to come here for at least a weekend and check it out. So here are my top 7 tips for what to expect and how to plan for when you're coming to town. By the way, this video is more geared towards people who are still in the exploratory phase and they're not quite sure if they're gonna move here, they're still a while away. If you are 100% for sure moving here and you gotta move here in 2 months or 3 months or whatever, your process is more accelerated. So you can take some of these tips and use them, but this is a little bit lagging for you. So our first tip is to actually reach out to us and book coffee. I'm happy to take you to coffee for an hour, it's on me, and answer your questions about living in the area and what you should check out while you're here, neighborhoods that might be a good fit for you. Of course, we can always do that over the phone or Zoom too, but I love to get face-to-face with people whenever possible. It just creates a better connection. The second tip or thing to know if you're still in that exploratory phase, you're not sure if you're gonna move here or you're a long ways away from actually moving here, is that we can't book showings for you. So this is kind of an unfortunate one. It's like, I wanna see these homes, Hannah. Can you take me to see these 5 or 10 homes? And I really can't, because those homes that are listed are up for sale for people that are seriously considering to buy them. So if you're not even sure if you want to move here, then that's really violating a little bit of my ethics as a realtor to bring you into the home knowing full well that you're not even sure if you're going to live here. So if you just want to look around for informational purposes, make sure you come on a weekend so you can go to open houses, which is actually my next tip on the list. Come over at least a weekend. So if you're gonna come, I wouldn't recommend you come Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday if you're gonna come for 3 days. If you're only gonna come for 3 days, come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you can come on Saturdays and Sundays when most of our open houses are. Anyone is welcome at an open house as long as you're polite and courteous to the seller and their possessions inside the home. That's a great place to go look in the more exploratory phase. If you can come for more than 3 days though, if you arrive on a Friday and you leave on a Sunday, that's a very short window of time to be somewhere that may be your new home for 5 to 30 years. I would say try and come for at least 5 days if you're able. Tip number 5 is to put a lot of miles on your rental car. I always recommend to people to drive around to the neighborhoods that you're interested in and also the homes that you've saved. So most people I find like to browse on Zillow or Realtor.com, etc. And there's like a little save folder in there. So you got your 20 or 30 homes that you like the best in there. If you just like the outside, you generally like the home, even if it's not the perfect one, go drive to those homes on the list. Check out what the neighborhood looks like. Check out what it's close to. Check out how the neighbors take care of their property. Those are things that you're really only gonna be able to truly tell in person. Tip number 5 is to take screenshots on the map and lots of notes. So whether you like to take notes on a piece of paper or on your phone, make sure you write things down because it can be a pretty jam-packed time. If you're only here for a couple days, you wanna make sure you remember everything. I take notes on literally everything in my business because it's not okay to just be running on memory. So make sure you jot it down. And then also a good tip for people coming and looking is if you're somewhere you like, take a screenshot on the map because you may not actually know where you are. If you're not familiar with the area, you don't know the neighborhood area, maybe you get it wrong on accident. So just take a screenshot on the map and that will remind you for later. Tip number 6 is to download our community guide on things to do while you're in town. This is a question I get a lot, and I realized I was answering it like 5 times a week. So I went ahead and I made a community guide. It's got nature, so hikes and parks, restaurants and coffee shops and treats, and other fun things to do. So I have it for mostly Vancouver and Camas because that's where most people tend to visit, and those are the areas where the most happens, but you can go ahead and download that below. And last tip, tip number 7, is to book a follow-up trip. If you're still unsure, there's more information you need to gather, or you want to come to town during a different time of year because you want to see what the weather's like, maybe during the winter, that's kind of a popular one, go ahead and book a follow-up trip. There's no shame in doing 2 or 3. So those are my quick 7 tips on when you're coming to town. This is pretty much what I tell everyone that reaches out to me. You know, it's gonna vary a little bit depending on your individual needs and where you are in the potential process. But with these things in mind, you're going to be able to get a really good start on making your trip awesome and a good use of your time. Thank you so much for watching today. We're really thankful that you did. If you are thinking about moving to the area of Vancouver, Camas, Clark County, Washington, or you're thinking about visiting, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Like I said, tip number 1, we'd love to take you to coffee for an hour. So we look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.